Good day, all. My walk is put off because of the rain, and I wanted to start today's vlog with just a little stroll, but the rain has come. You can see it hasn't put the gulls off, and Algernon Seagull is landing on his flat rock, his favorite place, crying and lamenting that the tide will soon cover it up. And his chum of choice, possibly his wife of last season, is next to him. And I'm just staying dry by the little overhang, the tiny porch off my studio. Some ducks are winging across the harbor. And all is right with the world. One's hopes are dashed by the rain of being outside and doing interesting things. But there's also something magical and nice about snuggling into the studio on a rainy day, enjoying the sound of the rain, an occasional thunderclap. So maybe today will just be me sharing the next story of my little drawings. Now, when I drew Miss Molly Cranston, whom I shared yesterday, as I was writing her little story, she was interacting with a porter at the train station, so I thought perhaps I will draw this person. Today's story is of that person. Well, he's not so much a person as a chipmunk, a ground squirrel. So I'll share that story now. Enoch straightened his cap. The uppity servant type who just departed the third-class car in piles of luggage had motioned to him. He knew the type. Yes'm, he smiled, knowing the tip from this creature's lady would be worth it. And most certainly such creatures as this, third-class passengers trumped up in last season's hats and overcoats, done up with deft hands, always meant lots of work, and sometimes a good tip would follow. He scrambled with a cart, adjusting his cap again, knowing it got askew with the heavy crates he just helped load into a waiting carriage. The work was honest and hard, but he felt lucky. Enoch Acorn came from good stock. His family had been farmers, though they never owned the land. They were a proud lot nonetheless. His father was gamekeeper for Old Lady P. Softpaw up at the big house. Sometimes, in season, he'd act as a beater with the local boys. He'd sneak up after their luncheon on blankets with hampers filled with potted meats and expensive wines, and dream. His father said he was a fool being a porter, but Enoch felt that if he was next to the gentry, something good might rub off. And being next to them as a proud porter in a smart uniform surely was better than being a lowly servant. "Get a move on, boy," shouted the lady's maid. Enoch hurried over with his little trap cart. One day, he dreamed, he'd like to be a clerk in a bank or an office, a job with a quiet space, a window to look out, and no heavy loads to haul. This dream faded as he began hoisting the boxes and leather cases, trying to smile at, but also ignore, the lady's maid. "Cranston," came a lovely melodic voice, and Enoch saw this must be the lady to which this creature belonged. She was lovely, soft as her voice and gentle. He could tell she was old family, from the well-made shoes to the slightly tattered brooch on her overcoat that was most likely handed down and not bought on Bond Street, like the uppity new money. They never tipped well. He smiled and tipped his cap with a "milady" to the lovely creature, and happily took the coin from her very own kid-gloved hand. Yes, she was old family. She put the money herself in his hand. It was the up-themselves new money who rolled in, barked orders, and made the staff hand out their meager tips. Enoch Acorn hoped the lady was going to stick around the area for sure. She was a good 'un, as his father would say. Well, I hope you like Enoch's story. As I said, as I was making the drawing of the lady's maid, I just thought I'd love to see the perspective of her view from the porter who had to deal with her, and thus was born Enoch Acorn. Well, I want to get this off as I'm running late to get today's vlog out, so I'm going to just start editing and enjoy the rain and the thunder. And when I'm done, I'll have earned the reward of sitting and staring out my studio window, watching the rain and scribbling more funny little characters. Well, thank you for joining me for today's little postcard vlog. Hope you enjoyed the funny little story of Enoch Acorn. And I will see you on Wednesday's vlog, as I don't post on Mondays and Tuesdays. So until then, remember, stay creative. Cheers.